Below her stretches her kingdom. Stitching the edges of the clouds, a peregrine falcon hangs high on the wind above a West Country cliff. She's queen of all she surveys. The peregrine is shaped for the pursuit and killing of birds in flight. Its body is streamlined. Chest tapers smoothly to the tail, wings are long and pointed. She's a winged aristocrat. But she wears the black hood of an executioner. With talons like daggers, her powerful feet are her killing weapons. Pigeons are her favorite food. Surprisingly fast and agile in the air, they are the gazelles to the falcon's cheetah. The pigeons nest in the caves and crevices of the cliff. In flight, they hug the contours of the crags, but they feed on the surrounding farmland. With the experience of many hunts, the falcon knows her first tactic must be to gain height. Sooner or later, the pigeons must return to the cliffs. She hides against the clouds, 1,000 feet above. The ambush is set. As they pass below her, she stoops like a winged thunderbolt. She is a masked barbarian, an awesome hunter. Evolution has linked a targeting eye with an executioner's talons. Autumn storms gnaw and crack the bare bones of the cliff. Winter is approaching. Here, prey is becoming scarce. But over the headland, a day's flight away, are her winter quarters. For she is queen of another kingdom, an estuary, where new subjects are coming in to be subjugated. During the lean months of winter, huge flocks of migrant waders and ducks move south to the fertile mudflats, and the falcon and her mate are irresistibly drawn to the swirling masses. But this place of ebb and flow and flat horizons poses special problems for the falcons. 1,000 eyes watch, but these birds too have their strategies for defense. The solitary redshank squats. The simple act of keeping still can foil an attack. By contrast, a mass takeoff presents the Falcon with an almost impenetrable tangle of confusion. When threatened, the ducks take to water. The Falcon dominates the estuary. The ducks know they're relatively safe as long as they're not in the air. For her, the ground represents danger. She would far rather take a bird in flight. She's frustrated. In a place of plenty, she has been foiled. But her mate is on to 2 pigeons. One is selected. As a solitary hunter, the peregrine is formidable, but a hunting pair is more than doubly effective. "90% of hunts at this time of year are successful. This pigeon is incredibly lucky." Winter is a testing time, a time of wandering, of peregrinations. With spring, the falcon's attachment to its breeding territory grows stronger once more. 30 years ago, intensive farming brought the peregrine close to extinction in Britain. Many died on their backs, poisoned by the pesticides used in agriculture and eaten by their prey. From 1966, when DDT and other pesticides were made illegal, the number of peregrines has gradually increased. A top predator is, paradoxically, very vulnerable. The peregrine is totally dependent on a particular kind of prey, whereas its prey is not so limited. Mistle thrushes and jackdaws can eat anything from grain to earthworms. Ravens have kept a lonely vigil on the cliffs throughout the winter. It's March, and already they have large chicks to feed. Declaring his presence, the male peregrine perches high on the cliff. He has returned. Once more, the rocks echo with his harsh chatter as he reclaims ownership. But already it's disputed by the raven. They are fierce rivals for airspace. Later, the raven may itself become a threat. The raven, forgotten, both birds display to each other. The loose alliance of the winter is becoming a stronger bond once more. He presents her with a nuptial offering. The male throws himself through the sky in a courtship flight. The contract is made. This cliff is theirs. The feral pigeons are also wheeling and chasing in nuptial flights, but in their excitement, they're less cautious. The male watches and chooses his time. Quietly dropping down from the cliff, he swings out to sea, gaining speed, and then turns to make use of the onshore wind. Using the updraft on the cliff face, an invisible elevator, he soars to an attack position. To stand any chance of making a kill, he must be upwind and well above his prey. Stooping at over 100 miles an hour, he is suddenly among them. The pigeon knows the cliff. It tries to escape by flying very low. But when the female joins in, the pigeon's fate is sealed. He distracts the pigeon, and the female makes the kill. Mid-May, the clutch is almost complete, and the female begins the long task of incubation. To keep the cold spring air from chilling her eggs, she rakes up debris, ensuring that there are no drafts. Both birds share incubation, although the female, called the falcon, spends most time on the eggs. She is dominant near the nest, being almost a third larger than the male or tiercel. She keeps him waiting before surrendering the eggs to him. Hungry and glad to stretch her wings, she heads straight to a food cache where a pigeon has been stored. This larder represents forward planning for times of shortage. The tiercel takes his incubating duties seriously, but when the larger falcon returns, he reluctantly gives way. Only in the daytime is he allowed to incubate, and then only for short spells. Stalling and turning with precision, the raven and jackdaws display perfect poise and control as they exploit the updrafts. 100 feet above the cliffs, an intruding buzzard hangs motionless on a column of air. The raven can't resist a scrap. He takes exception to the buzzard's presence. Too close for comfort and sensing danger near their eyrie, both falcons leave to show that they hold air superiority. It's Saturday, pigeon race day. And 10,000 birds climb into the sky to find their way home through unknown territory and unsuspected enemies. Driven by the overwhelming instinct to return to their lofts, they fly a straight and unwavering course. They make easy targets. Flock after tired flock pass around the headlands. Powering upwards, the tiercel climbs to gain height. Splitting the flock, he selects a victim. The falcon leaves the cliff and ceremoniously accepts the prey in an aerial courtship pass. The sticky summer heat makes the birds drowsy. The long days of incubation are over. Only 2 have hatched from the full clutch of 4 eggs. Tapping one of the unhatched eggs with her bill, the falcon listens for a response. But no cheep comes from inside. Both eggs are infertile. All remains of meals are removed. The nest is kept scrupulously clean. Herring gulls coast and wheel on updrafts to watch for prey or carrion, even an unguarded peregrine chick. The tiercel rides high on guard duty, ever watchful for any threat of danger. The old enmity between falcon and raven is strong at this time, especially near the nest. The raven is a pirate, the falcon now the fearful parent. Heavily laden with a pigeon taken at sea, and therefore disadvantaged, the falcon reappears, hotly pursued by a great black-backed gull, trying to rob her of her prize. But the pigeon is firmly grasped, tucked tidily beneath her tail. In nature's constant process of change, ears of wheat have been transformed into the flesh of a pigeon. It will soon become the blood, bones and muscles of the chicks. With extraordinary delicacy, she scissors tiny morsels of meat and presents them to her young. An immature falcon dares to invade restricted airspace. She actually lands on the cliff itself, a very risky thing to do, even though she may be one of last year's young. The tearsel seems uncertain how to respond. He's torn between conflicting sexual and territorial instincts. Suddenly, his mate hears the trespasser. She hacks at him. He's been caught out, flirting with an intruder. Now he must insist on his territorial rights. With spirited scoops, he drives the young bird into the air. Early July. The chicks are almost 5 weeks old and close to fledging. The adults now spend less time on the ledge, which becomes littered with remains of prey. To satisfy the insatiable demand for protein, hunting becomes full-time. But the parents have to alternate their duties. One must hunt, the other provides air cover. Many hunts now take place near the cliff. The chicks have a grandstand view. The pigeon is still alive. The tearsel bends forward to kill it with his beak by dislocating its neck. The chicks, or eyases, are as large as the tearsel now, always hungry and aggressive. Warily he drops the prey and leaves it with them. They're old enough to feed themselves. Screaming past the eyrie, the tearsel encourages the eyases to take their first flight. But one mistake could send them plummeting into the sea. Plump, hyperactive, and watching every bird, every movement, they anticipate the big moment. The female flies past the young, trailing a pigeon, enticing them. Finally, one plucks up the courage and takes the first faltering flight towards independence. And then, at the last, it clumsily displaces its mother from her perch. Now she chooses a perch further down the cliff, out of sight of the young, but close enough to monitor their progress. They have discovered their true element. They practice like athletes, sharpening and honing their flying skills. It looks like play, but it has a more serious purpose, to turn them into expert killers. To get his eye in, one indulges in a little target practice, plucking foxgloves. These young birds are continuing the noble line. This year, peregrines are back to above their pre-war numbers. An estimated 1,300 ancestral territories will be occupied. On the verge of independence, this young falcon takes a pigeon from its mother. But he has no experience of handling such a load. He has much to learn. "20 years ago, peregrines faced extinction. But now, once more, the shadow of the falcon crosses the last wildernesses of this crowded island.
Next week, Wildlife on One goes undercover to follow the illegal fur trade that constantly threatens the small wildcats of Central and South America. That's at the same time, 8 o'clock.